Okay, 276. 276. Halacha Gimel. Ner sheish lo shtei pios. Ola b'shno shnayim. A candle which has two wicks. Two people could light that same candle. We'll see in a minute what it means. Let's say you have a dish of oil and you have a long wick. And one side of the vessel, one side of the wick sticks out, and the other side of the vessel, the other side of the wick sticks out. Right? And each person, so the two lights are next to one another. Let's see the first night. It's one wick. They're connected. But since they burn separately, so you see this too. Just because they're connected doesn't mean anything. Okay. Ner sheish lo shtei pios, olo b'shlo shnayim. Gimel. Hainu shapsilus mibifnim munochen b'ner, zeitzel zeh. Rak roshi apsil shebolten l'chutz nechlok l'shtei mekomos. Meaning, they're within the same candle, but the wicks, they jut out at different points of the candle. The Kamashimon, the Alpi Shemifnim, Einu Muvdol, and Apsil's Klau. Zemi said, although it's the same wick, you put one wick into a candle, it's a wide candle, and one wick comes out on one side of the candle, the other wick comes out the other side of the candle. But where they come out and they burn, they're seen as two wicks. Therefore you see this too. It's not seen as one. Ola b'shul shnayim mashmad b'loshen da'afilu mahajin osin ne'er l'kol echod gam kin yol zeh l'shnei b'nei odom. Right? If you see this too, so it would be considered v'aymogravam shedai fi mai di'isa le'el b'hagod lida mosif m'chol laylo ne'er echod l'chol echod min abayis kol echod l'adlik ne'rosa mokom yuchod. But it has to be seen as what? Not as two candles. Like it's the second night. If they're too close together, right, the Ramos says, that each person lights his own set of candles, you can't light them next to one another. Because then you have multiple candles, right? Let's say two people light each a candle on the first night. If they're next to one, it looks like it's the second night. Therefore, each one has to be lit in its designated location. So the same thing, so he says, according to the Mechaber, that you're lighting only one set of lights. So, okay, it's not a problem. But if you have two wicks coming out of the same candle, it appears to be what? And it's lit by two people. It could be seen as what? It's the second night, rather than what? As two people lit the candle. So the Mogram Ram says, according to the Ramah, it's not going to be simple where you have two wicks coming out of the same candle, because they're close enough where it's seen as the same person is lighting them. 1 second. He says it's only where you have the same candle. Alvum benori shalonu. He says, now this is what we said. The whole Ramah has no relevance to us, right? Because today when we light the candles, each one has his own menorah. So it's clear each one is set off by itself. The menorahs could be one next to one another, but each menorah is an indication, representation of different people lighting. So it's not a problem. So that's what he says. Avol benori shalonu, our menorahs. Sheish lim shnei shmona pios. Muta lahadlik shnei b'nei odom. Also he says, you have a menorah, one wants to light at one end of the menorah, the other doesn't light the other end of the menorah. So it's clear. I mean, because if you light next to one another. So if they're opposite ends, then what? It's clear. It's two people lighting the each one at an opposite end. Shano roim, it's obvious what we see. Sheidliku shnayim. The two people lit the menorah. Because if not, why is the second candle at the other end? It should be adjacent to the first candle. No. Sham says no. No. Here we're talking about two people lighting on the same menorah the first night. One lights at one end of the menorah, the other person lights at the other end of the menorah. They have one menorah. You're traveling, you have one menorah. You don't want to paste it to the windowsill. Right? So each one lights it. She said, but two people lighting the same menorah, it looks like one lighting. It doesn't look like one lighting. Because if you light a menorah, one candle is next to the other. Why did they light at the opposite ends of the menorah? Evidently, two people lit. That's what he's saying. Okay?
Well, that's good for the first candle. What about if it's the 6th or 7th?
No, that's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible.
And also,
I would just, yeah, okay.
I wanted to to ask when there are two wicks, and the people can light, but is it an obligation or is it allowed?
No, it's not. You have to light. Let's say that's the only thing you have available. Does it have any value? So that's what we're discussing now. If it appears to be two candles which indicate it's the second night, but it's two people, then it's a problem. Then you should only light one wick. You shouldn't light both wicks. Right? So the other person won't be yotzei. I mean, we see the mechaber, really, you can rely on the mechaber. We had before a question. Right? You have no choice. You only have enough oil that you'll be yotzei for the whole family, or lend it to your neighbor. Right? If each person lights himself, your neighbor is not able to light. So he said earlier to Mishna Berura, you should have only one set of candles for the whole family, and give whatever extra you have, give to your neighbor. Because otherwise your neighbor's not going to fulfill the mitzvah, right? See, from there you see that what is the primary opinion? Everybody agrees that one set for the family is sufficient. It's better that each person, the minig is each person should have for his own, if he can. But he can't work it out, so you just have one set for everybody.
Well, then it's part of household. Say it's the third night you have to the father writes all three?
No.
Does he give to each child?
No.
You have one menorah, one set.
One menorah, just the opposite. There's a brisker Rav on this, on the Rambam. The reason why you have one lighting, and you can't have multiple lightings, because anything addition to that first lighting is hidur mitzvah. It's hidur. So therefore, once you stop doing the mitzvah, you disengage, the concept of hidur has no relevance any longer. It's based on how to learn a brisa in Shabbos, Masechah Shabbos. The Gemara says over there's a question of Shabbos or during the week. A person is a moel. And, sometimes a person who has an understanding of how circumcision is supposed to take place. It could be valid circumcision, but if somebody looks, it's a sloppy job. What does it mean, sloppy job? There's certain foreskin that if you don't remove it, the child's considered uncircumcised. So it's understandable. It has to be removed regardless. The child, you haven't done a full circumcision, full milah. But sometimes the child is considered, and there's some other aspects of skin. It should have been removed, but it wasn't removed. That's called a sloppy job. So the Brisa says, there's an argument, we speak on Shabbos or we speak during the weekday? The Rambam learns the Brisa is speaking during the weekday. During the weekday. A moel goes and does a milah, and then he realizes he hasn't removed all the foreskin. So it says, if the foreskin would render the child uncircumcised, even if you removed his hand totally, put the knife down, he has to go back and complete the circumcision. The child's doesn't have milah yet. But if he already did a full circumcision, then he realizes he should have taken off a little more, right? More skin. He doesn't go back. The Rambam learns it's during the week. He's learning the cases during the week. So the way they explain the Rambam, because what is removing the extra residue of skin? That's hidur mitzvah. Hidur mitzvah is while you do the mitzvah, you should do it on the most elaborate way. Once the mitzvah is completed, you can't go back afterwards. You're not able to go back afterwards. So therefore, if the first set of candles, let's say one person lights, that itself, that is the chiyuv, that's the obligation. The addition, that's hidur. So anybody who lights afterwards, the first lighting is if you'd have all the menorahs, one person would light all the menorahs is one thing. But A lights, now B lights. B lighting is like the person putting down the knife, and now he picks the knife up again. The concept of hidur has no relevance any longer. So therefore, according to the Mechaber, once the first set is lit, the first candle is lit, it's over. Hidur has no relevance any longer. No. No, that's right. Let's say it's the second night. You light 1, 2. You did hidur. Because the person, it's the same lighting. There's no interruption in the first and second. But let's say the first person finishes light 1, 2. Now Mr. 2 comes. And it's not hidur any longer. The lighting is only hidur. But once you already removed your hand from the lighting, hidur has no relevance any longer. So therefore, according to the Mechaber, it has no value whatsoever. Having multiple menorahs has no value. That's the position of the Mechaber. Ramah learns like Rashi. The Rambam learns the Gemara like Rashi, speaking specifically on Shabbos. Talking about Chilu Shabbos. What are you permitted to continue if it's one action? But if you put it down, and now you want to go back, cutting off the skin is what? It's a question of, it's gozes, it's shearing, or it's, you may cause a wound. You may cause a wound. Yeah, what's his name? Breslov, Rav Nachman Breslov. Okay, you should come next time you come with those yarmulkes, nach, you know. Okay.
But why is it in the middle of the week? So it's not to do it, but you can do it.
I'm telling you, it has no value. If you learn the Bryce is speaking during the week, not a question of Chilu Shabbos. The Bryce is saying you don't go back. Go back. Why don't? The answer is because it has no value. It has no value to. So you want to do aesthetics. You want to keep your reputation go back. We're talking about.
You mean you shouldn't do it at
We're
all.
talking about
Go
within
back
the
and do it
context of halacha.
Right.
Should he go back? He has no obligation to go back.
Oh.
It has no value. You want to go back for your reputation, that you want to be recommended, it's a different story.
But you cannot do it during Shabbos. You have to go back.
You know, even for Hidur, because Hidur has no relevance once the mitzvah is completed.
Does everyone make a bracha on the menorah? If it's just a mahaja on a previous mitzvah, we have 5 brachas on the same mitzvah?
Yep.
I know who's one. Just one mitzvah. Yeah, one mitzvah, 5 brachas. No. It's like in yeshiva.
So that was like the mechaber. That was like the mechaber. It was simple because there was only one lighting. One lighting, of course, you can only say one bracha. He's asking, but if everybody has their own lighting, and the additional lighting is hitter, so how do you say a bracha? Right? It's a hitter, but since you're starting from one again, you can. You understand? Let's see a person. It comes to a question of halacha. Let's say a person lights one candle, and he forgot to say the bracha, and they say, "Oh, by the way, it's the second night." And he puts the second one in, and he wants to light the second one. Right? According to the mechaber, you can't say a bracha, and it has no value to light the second candle. That's mahadrin. The base halacha is you can have one candle for every night. That we identify the night, that's hitter. So the person, he thought it was the first night, right? Sveika Yom, right? He wasn't in touch. He didn't look at the calendar. He thought it was the first night, but the second night, he only put in one candle. And then he realizes, according to the Mechaber, it has no value to light that second candle. Doesn't make a difference. The mitzvah is to light one candle per night. That's the base mitzvah. Right. Means nothing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with lighting a second candle. People look for outside the window. They say the man doesn't know what he's doing. Not Marasayan. It's not Marasayan. Let's say a person only has one candle per night. It's not Marasayan. No, that's Amaratzis from the other people. But if the person did the wrong thing, the second night lights one candle, right? So doesn't look good. So you light a second candle. Do you say a bracha? Definitely you don't say a bracha. But according to the Ramah, you would say a bracha, right? Because even though you removed your hand, it's only the Gemara speaking on Shabbos. You're not permitted to violate Shabbos. But you can continue. As long as there's any level of association with the mitzvah, you can enhance the mitzvah.
What if you have 2 menorahs? So one menorah, the person has the right to light for 2 days. The next menorah, the person has right touch, and only lit for 1 day.
Good.
You have one menorah that says 1 day, and one menorah that says 2 days. So then you would go ahead. Right?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. Again, one lights one at the right amount, and you only have enough. You have one candle for the additional menorah. The head of the household has enough for every night, and he wants his children, but he doesn't have enough for his children candles. So with his candles, his children, they can light one per night. So it's no worse than that. To be continued.
So going back to the Gemara on Shabbos, he does a sloppy job.
You can't go back on Shabbos and correct it.
He has to wait after Shabbos.
Right.
after Shabbos.
Not Motzei, Sunday morning.
Why-
We don't do Mila at nighttime. We don't do it at nighttime.
Yes.
But there, it's not a part of the meal was done already, so why can't you do it direct at night? It's not.
But if you hold its hitter, According to Rashi, it's still hit a mitzvah.